fantasy series. How did you come up with your entire map?
So I only had a vague idea of what I wanted to happen when I first started making the map for my series Steps Between the Aether. And like, I knew it would be roughly about the same size as Queensland, and I knew almost nothing else. I knew there were going to be mountains, I knew there was a forest, I knew there was probably going to be a desert, and I was going to take heavy influence from Queensland's geography. So then I got a piece of paper. I have a cat on my lap, so he's making it difficult. I got a piece of paper, I threw some rice on there, I traced around it, and then I outlined the outline of the whole thing. That is right. But then I got about halfway through it because I'd confused myself because I had all of these weird little islands off the side and I didn't know what to do with them. So then I thought to myself, maybe if I turn it into volcanoes, maybe I can have volcanoes. Hey, that works. I have fire dragons. And, you know, maybe they're going to want to sleep in the lava or of the volcanoes or, like, eat the lava. I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. Look at it. There's so many volcanoes. So at that point, I went to my roommate, asked for assistance, confused myself further, gave up. That video went viral. Diconite commented on my volcanoes. I had a little bit of a gay panic, and then I was like, okay, Diconite believes in me. I can write more. And you can't really see it, it's quite faint, so I'm just going to like zoom in for it. It's quite faint because I haven't traced over everything with the pen as yet because I'm still trying to figure out the like logistics of everything. But this is north up here. Here is the mountain range. The north is primarily like mountain ranges and foothills, which then eventually lead down into a bit of a grassy plain that eventually turns into desert. Again, I'm basing this pretty heavily on Australia. So the mountains, I'm taking some inspiration from the Great Dividing Range, but I still have a bit more research on that to do. However, the foothills, they are based on jump ups. So flat top mesas or small hills, which I see a lot of when I'm doing mile runs around Middleton. And also I used to work on one for the better part of 10 years. Anyway, so like lots of spin effects. This is like red sand country, which then leads into the red sands of the desert here in the west. And then like the different kingdoms have different kinds of fae in them and different kinds of dragons. Over here in the east, I'm going to have like a rainforest, which then devolves. I don't know if that's the right word, but it goes from a rainforest into like a temperate forest, which eventually transitions into woodland, which then eventually transitions into scrubland, which then leads to the southern area, which is like plains, grassy savannas, which is covered in like these big lakes and deltas and stuff like that. And then of course we have all of our little volcanoes all around the end there. And so we're going to have like a central location here. So it'll be like all of them are their own, like a kingdom within the kingdom, if that makes sense. They'll each have their own like dragon. Well, the dragons may not have kings. I haven't decided that fully yet. But the fae will have like representatives for each of like the different sectors. And the humans are going to have different kings or queens for each of the different sectors. And like they'll all have a capital city in each of the different spaces. But like this place right here, I don't have a name for it yet, but that's going to be like the capital, and it's right in the middle where the four sectors all sort of interconnect. So like you've got this big winding river that comes down from the northern mountains, and you're going to have like the foothills up here, you'll have the red sands down here, you'll have the grassy savannas, and you'll start to have a little bit of scrubland over here, so like acacia and stuff like that. So honestly, I'm still taking pretty heavy influence from pre-existing geology, because one thing that always like pulls me out of a fantasy series is if there's too much hand wavy magic made it happen or the dragons make it happen. Like, yes, you can have that, but like there's got to be a reason to it. Like, give me your world building, give me your Tolkien level world building, please, I'm begging you. So essentially I'm just going, you know, what's happening in Queensland's geographical history, geological history, and what can I take from that to then put into my kingdom, Wija. And then liberally going back through and watching the videos that Diconite stitched about the volcanoes, because I still don't know what I'm doing with those. But I hope that helped. Yeah, I too don't really know what's happening. Eventually I'll feel confident enough to come back through it and like keep adding in more towns and more bits and pieces as I figure more stuff out. But at the moment, that's just sort of where I'm at.